Today I'm talking about how to help special needs kids so you can learn to work with their nervous system to improve their development dramatically and for the long term. Healthy function must be learned. For a struggling baby, every day matters, so don't wait. If your child doesn't move normally, either due to a brain injury, a physical injury, a genetic disorder, or an undiagnosed condition, if they have difficulty eating, keeping food down, or eliminating, if they breathe irregularly, have vision or other functional issues, don't delay. Even if you feel that something is wrong, even if others tell you there's no problem or that you should wait and see, a mother often knows, so don't wait. Seek help right away. There's no time to lose. Don't wait and see because every day matters in the life of a baby. Even if you do get help, they may suggest ineffective surgeries, painful therapy, things that don't help your child actually develop. You need a real solution that will help your child learn to move, crawl, walk, eat, speak, and acquire all the important functions of life. End the cycle of powerlessness today by taking your family's well-being into your own hands. There is a better way that has worked for thousands of families, and I want to tell you about it now. This is the secret method that teaches function and works for a wide variety of conditions to bring about real improvement. It was developed by Moshe Feldenkrais, who was a pioneer of the alternative health movement in the 20th century. The work was perfected for children by his leading disciple, Anat Banyel. Anat Banyel has been helping children for over 40 years, and she trained me in a unique 10-year-long apprenticeship, just like she learned from Dr. Feldenkrais. I've now been helping children for over 20 years, and I not only took the trainings, but I was Anat's right-hand assistant in her private practice for 8 years. I observed every private lesson she gave to a child for all those years. I ran her private practice and managed her schedule and was in the room for virtually every lesson. I had a unique apprenticeship. No one else assisted her in the room with every child that she saw like I did, and I did that for years until I started my own center in 2010. I helped found the Anat Banyel Method Center in San Rafael. I was one of the primary practitioners for children there, and I taught classes for adults and also helped in all of Anat's trainings and workshops. I had full practices in multiple cities: San Rafael, San Francisco, San Diego, and Scottsdale. I was invited to train doctors, therapists, and practitioners in the USA and abroad in China, Thailand, and Vietnam. My practice became so busy I couldn't observe Anat any longer. I left her center in 2010 to open my own center in San Francisco. I recently moved to northern Vermont and will resume seeing clients here post-COVID. I have now developed an effective way for parents and caregivers to help their own children and for therapists or practitioners to enhance their skill with my new Embody hands-on training for children. Now parents can learn these revolutionary techniques and help your own family. Practitioners can work with me one-on-one, gain the benefit of my experience, and be more effective with their own young clients. Today in this short training, I'll show you how you can use the power of observation and gentle touch to help your child starting today. We're doing something very different from typical solutions. This is not manual therapy. It's a transformational neural training. The difference is that it's designed to work with the nervous system, with a 21st century understanding of brain plasticity. The work is permanent because it promotes learning. It creates leaps forwards by hacking human function. It's completely gentle and safe for children of all ages, and the work has no negative side effects, can be done long-term or stopped at any time. I know it works because I've helped hundreds of children for over 2 decades. I made a big commitment years ago when I saw Anat's first young clients and saw how they always improve. I really wanted to help them, and knowing how effective this work is, we all just want to help your child. It's easier than you think to start taking steps forward. You'll see the benefits right away, and it just gets better the more that you do. We'll start right now with real techniques that you can do to help your child today. You may have been told to wait and see. because many problems are not easily apparent until the child is already 1 or 2 years old. Plus, frankly, the medical community doesn't have very effective approaches to helping special needs kids. They'll have you come back when the child is older so that they can do the interventions that they know how to do, like fitting your child with a walker or a wheelchair, doing surgeries, physical and occupational therapy, all of which are ineffective at getting a child to do more and to move themselves better. In fact, they often cause more disruption and can even make it impossible for a child to learn on their own. We want your child to acquire new function through their own natural learning process. Waiting is the wrong thing to do because every day is a missed day of learning and growth. It's important to learn from infancy, and we get the best results with the youngest children. So please do not wait another day. Knowing that something exists that can help, please try it today and see. The younger your child is, the better. What your child really needs is this way to acquire new function and to do things better, more accurately, more easily, more skillfully, so they can do things for themselves and learn like all kids can learn. There are very few kids that are so tragically disordered that they can't learn at all. I've only seen 2 in my long career out of close to 1,000 kids. Most special need kids are avid learners and can improve and do improve incrementally every day. So take heart, your child can learn and take real steps forward. You may already be doing physical therapy or other interventions, and you may also be disappointed with the results or wondering when you'll see real progress. Are you always wishing there was a better, easier way? Manual therapy doesn't work because it misses the key component to human life which is required to improve: learning. And I don't mean book learning. I mean the type of organic learning that children do to learn to walk, talk, and do everything that you do. If you've ever seen a child learn to use a utensil or drink from a cup, you know that it's a long process for us to acquire any new skill. Manipulation of muscles and joints is simply ineffective because the brain is controlling those muscles and joints, and if there's no learning, there's no change. The limitation of movement is not caused by the muscles. The limitations are caused by the brain not performing actions, not moving in ways that lead to new function. Children acquire one function after another, and they do so through their own movement and learning. You need to interact with the brain in order to bring about that real learning for real improvement to happen. The solution is to teach the brain how to move and how to acquire new function. Even when there's a physical injury like a brachial plexus injury or torticollis, the solution is the same. The brain sorts out the movement and brings about the recovery from the injury, but it needs the right information in order to do so. Healing happens automatically, but sometimes you need a push in the right direction, especially for a young, new nervous system that's still being regulated by the parents and by people outside of itself. Function is not always automatically acquired. Unfortunately, a young brain can do more than just learn and do new things. It can also inhibit healthy movement, which is what is often seen in an injury like a brachial plexus injury. The brain can actually ignore the injured arm, and normal movement won't be developed. So we need to intervene and help that brain to recognize the arm and bring about healthy movement so that healing and function are developed together. Likewise, disordered movement is often learned, which is what happens with most brain-injured children. They learn imperfect ways of moving, and it's often too imperfect. They're not able to stand or walk or run well enough because their movement is too flawed. It's too inaccurate. And so they also miss many spontaneous learning experiences that just happen for other kids. We have to fill in these gaps and deficiencies so that they can progress step by step in their own way. Like if they do rudimentary movements but with great effort, the spasticity is interfering with the development of finer motor skills. Imperfect weight bearing results in a host of problems, from joint malformation to the inability to stand and walk. When a child is not acquiring function, something is interrupting the normal step-by-step learning process. They don't learn to walk because they did not do the year's worth of other movements that lead to walking. The joints, bones, muscles, even the senses develop together and result in the higher function of standing and walking. They may struggle with a walker for a few years, but many older kids refuse to use them, and unfortunately, their ability to acquire core function is harder to achieve the older they get. There's no replacement for the long apprenticeship in movement that leads to walking. This is the process that we provide. We give your child the experience of many movements, the experience of learning and acquiring function, help them put the pieces together in a meaningful way so that they can move forward and acquire those big functions. Instead of inaccurate movements that lead nowhere, they get meaningful experiences that lead to new function. They become able to do things for themselves and continue to grow in that way. The parents doing this process on a daily basis is the best possible situation. So I want to help you acquire the skills that you need and guide you ongoingly to give your child the best possible future. My Embody for Families training combines the movement training with the hands-on training and theory. You learn to help others directly and develop your own movement skill, intelligence, and heighten your sense of touch. We need the sense of touch. It's our only essential sense. You can live without vision, you can live without hearing, even taste and smell. But life would be impossible without the sense of touch, which also includes feeling. Touch includes your inner feeling of self. We learn to calibrate movement by feeling what we do. We feel our own balance, we feel the movement of our muscles and limbs, and that's how we learn to do new things. You'll learn to heighten your own feeling skill so that you can then help your child develop theirs for the first time. We all rely completely on the sense of touch and our own movement to do everything, yet we pay them little attention until there's a problem. They're taken for granted, just there and always working. But it's not always working, and that's what you learn when you have a special needs child. All of a sudden, that which we take for granted no longer works as it should. It seems no one can help. There's no readily available process that helps, and most people never discover this work, which is exactly what the child needs, to learn how to move and to take steps forward in life. For most special needs kids, they never get any real help in acquiring function. They get interventions, but they don't learn to acquire new functions. Many live a life of discomfort, pain, greater and greater limitation. They never defy the odds, and parents never see the kind of progress they wish to see. If you want to defy the odds and get better outcomes, you have to do something different. You have to do something more effective, more intelligent, and you can see the difference. That's why I continue to do this work, and it's why many physical therapists, occupational therapists, massage therapists, medical doctors, and neurologists study this work. They see the results, and they want to get those results with their patients and clients. Because we see children every day who do defy the odds and do better than they should. This is the way to work with your child and defy the odds. You can change the trajectory of their life, change a life of limitation into a life of growth and possibilities. It doesn't mean that their needs go away. It means they're not defined by their limitations. They're defined by what they can do, which is how every child's life should be. You can be confident that you're doing everything you can to help them acquire new function and new ability with the highest quality process that exists. Don't wait to start this process. Every day is another day to grow and move forward. In the short life of a child, even a month is a long time. 1 month is 12% of the life of a 1-year-old. So what is the new way? First, stop the cycle of meaningless therapy. If it doesn't work right away, it's not working. Doesn't mean it works 100%, it means you see changes step by step. Learn to access and amplify the real learning process that does that. It's immediately beneficial, and you see improvement happening ongoingly. You work with your child in an intelligent way, and you'll see the difference. You'll learn how function is acquired and how to help your child move forward every day. You'll learn the movement lessons and how we do it, so you can really teach your child. You'll boost your own sensitivity in order to assess your child and know how to help them. You'll learn the world-famous hands-on techniques passed on from Moshe Feldenkrais to Anat Baniel to me. Take charge of your family's well-being and gain a real healing superpower. Gain insight into what's happening so you don't feel so powerless or in the dark. Really help your child and anyone else manage themselves better for life. You'll learn the techniques and apply them immediately, starting today. You do my online movement lessons, and they teach you the fundamentals of the method and give you a powerful process specifically designed for maximum results with children. Learn how and why each lesson works, as I'll explain how it helps and how to apply it with your child. You learn the hands-on techniques corresponding with each movement lesson, and by first doing it yourself, you'll really know it and be able to translate the movement through your hands. This is how Feldenkrais developed the hands-on work. You'll do guided sessions with your child, one-on-one Zoom calls with me, where I guide you what to do with your hands and customize the process specifically for your child's needs. We'll assess and repeat, so I'll teach you new movement lessons every time based on what your child needs. We'll draw on the vast library of hundreds of lessons, and I'll show you a variety of hands-on techniques that correspond with the movements that you learn, all customized to help your child specifically. We'll do a mini version today so you can start and help your child immediately. This is not rote exercise or a system of steps. It's a process of acquiring and refining function, which is natural to our nervous system. We are triggering the natural organic learning process and helping your child move step by step. You only need to do the lessons and the process just works like magic. You'll see small improvements with every lesson and occasional leaps forward, just like you should with any child. You do not even have to understand how it works. You just do the lessons to experience the amazing benefits. I've even had doctors refer clients to me on that basis. They say, I don't know what he does, just go see Joseph, it works. The process fills in the gaps in a child's learning so they're able to acquire new functions in a healthy way. That's how it works. It doesn't eliminate their problems, but it provides you with access to their learning ability and allows you to help them take steps forward every day to acquire new function and improve existing function. So they learn to do more and they learn to do everything better step by step. How they progress is highly individualized, but improvement is always in the right direction. Give your child this ongoing boost in their neural learning, and it amplifies their abilities and leads to more significant improvements in the future. At the very least, you'll be better able to handle your child physically and attend to their basic daily needs more comfortably, which a lot of parents need. But in the best cases, you really help them to learn to move, breathe, think, help them crawl, stand, walk, speak, eat, play, read, write, do math. It helps every area, and they'll continue to grow and do all they can in life with the help of an optimized learning process. Children are learning things for the first time, so make it a more successful experience and they'll learn to do things better. This process fills in the gaps in their normal learning process and helps them to move well, think well, know themselves better. It helps them reduce the limitations that are caused by their disability so that they'll be happier and more successful in everything that they do. You will discover a completely new way of understanding yourself and your child. You'll always have a way to move forward in life because that's what the process does. It gives you the automatic way to improve. This is a system of managing the nervous system and thereby managing life. It's also a profound way of connecting one nervous system to the other. You have direct access to your child's life via movement and their feeling of self. Plus, it empowers you and gives your whole family a great feeling of well-being. You'll reduce the stress, overcome the trauma, and start to feel better. You may be thinking that it sounds like mystical thinking. Just connect with my child and do some woo-woo, little movement. No, that's not what I'm saying, and that's not all it is. It's a highly scientific method that's been developed for decades specifically to help children. It's based on real-world results. It leads to a real understanding of life and a real way to help your child. It's not based on beliefs or ideas. It's based on how our nervous system really works. And I'm only interested in results. Results means your child doing more and doing better. The process is easy to do, but it requires regular practice and ongoing training. Once you get going, the results are long-lasting and lead to real transformation. We see kids who can't use their arms start to use their arm. Kids who can't roll or crawl learn to start moving themselves. Kids who can't walk or rely on a walker gain greater independence and the ability to stand on their own feet. Kids with terrible posture and painful movement stand straight and learn to manage themselves. Kids who can't eat or have trouble with elimination get regular. We can't promise results, but we see great results in the majority of the clients that come in. It helps acquire all movement function and also helps regulate important internal functions like breathing, digestion, even vision and blood pressure. This is a real secret for humanity, and I want to help every child that I can. That's why I'm expanding my online training with Embody for families. It's a step-by-step process and a comprehensive training so you can help your child and help anyone you touch. It is the most powerful hands-on method and body of knowledge. This is the way to work with your child to acquire function and to keep learning every day. I want to get you started today, and I have a powerful lesson prepared that will provide exponential results. That's what I do in my trainings, provide you with simple techniques that give you life-changing results. So are you ready for that? Coming up is a short lesson for you to experience the process. What does applying this knowledge really look like? You get a step-by-step process that's custom designed for your child. You see how progress happens through learning and how this creates permanent improvement. Your child's process won't seem so mysterious to you, and you won't have to waste time and money on things that don't work, because when something works well, you start to see the difference right away. You'll learn to work with the nervous system so everything goes better. The results are exponentially better because we're tapping into natural life processes and fostering the natural acquisition of function. This process is what it takes to help your child learn to improve. We all learn in the same way. You get the eyes, the hands, the mind to know what to do next every day. You'll use your own awareness and thinking to guide your child in the right direction, and you'll help them over the hurdles that they can't get over on their own. By learning these skills, you create a foundation for your child's future, and you can apply the basic methodology to other areas of life. So you get a way to continuously improve, to find your way through even the most challenging situations for yourself and for everyone in your life. So what actually happens with each session of the training? First, you get a movement lesson that you do yourself. Each is a self-contained training on a theme. Some lessons work on core principles that everyone needs, and that's what I have in the self-guided training in the Embody app. When you work one-on-one with me, you get an additional custom process where I select lessons and sequences specifically for your child. In each session, you also learn the hands-on techniques so you can apply the movements to help others. This is how Dr. Feldenkrais developed the hands-on work. He developed the hands-on work in the context of helping people do the movement lessons. You'll learn the details of how to work with your hands so that you can create a custom process every lesson. We don't stop with just the movements in the movement lesson, but how to be creative and use your hands to help the person that's there with you. And you'll start helping your child from day one. In addition, you get one-on-one sessions with me over Zoom, which completes the process. I guide you to do live movement lessons with your child. So you'll learn all of the skills, and then we'll work together to create a more advanced process that will really amplify the results for your child. To really work with a child requires quickly adapting what you do to suit the child in the moment, and that's one of my great strengths. If the child changes positions quickly, you have to change what you're doing. If the child falls asleep or becomes more animated, you change what you do to suit what the child is doing. This is one of the main skills that made my practice a success for all of these years. I can quickly adapt and go with the child and also recognize what the child needs next in order to progress. As Anat says, you go with the nervous system. So you get the movement lessons, you get the hands-on training, you get the one-on-one guided sessions with me, with your child, and then you keep practicing. You'll develop more and more skill. You can practice on your other family members, on friends. You can even start a new career doing this work. It's a complete training that gives you world-class skill in the method, the theory, and the techniques. The more you do, the better you get at it, but it really starts working from day one. Okay, are you ready to try it and see? I want to give you something significant that you can do with your child today. So you're going to get the first step of learning to touch. And it's not just an idea or a theory. By connecting in this way, you learn to literally interface with your child's nervous system via the sense of touch. That is the real secret of this method: direct brain-to-brain interaction through two nervous systems via touch and movement. It works automatically. This is one of Feldenkrais's great discoveries. We can connect in this way and bring about profound change in the other person. We'll intentionally activate this inner power, which is an advanced skill in normal trainings, but I want you to be able to start helping your child right away, so I'm giving you the gold free from day one. It's not the only secret of the work, which is life-changing to everyone who experiences it. This really is the thing that most people have been searching for. I was, and I'm sure you've been wishing for something that works. It's the most amazing thing I've ever done, and I've done a lot. Now I'm putting all of my knowledge in the app, which I call Embody. The first few minutes that you get today is a very powerful piece, but it's just the first step. It's actually just the first few minutes of the first lesson in the online training. A full movement lesson is 30 minutes long, and a session with a child can be 10 to 30 minutes. What I'm teaching you today should be practiced on your child for just 5 minutes. More than that can be irritating, so don't do too much because it has negative results. That's the first thing to learn, is when to stop. Stop earlier than you think you should, and never do a little bit more. That's when people make mistakes. So be sure to stop after 5 minutes, and be sure to stop if your child indicates any discomfort. This work is meant to be completely gentle and to always feel good. It's always comfortable, always feels good, is never painful, never uncomfortable. The main indicator that you're doing it correctly is your child's own participation, comfort, and enjoyment. Today we'll do a few minutes, and it gives you a good idea of what the process is really like, but it's just the first part of the first lesson. Actually, it includes 2 parts. First, a visualization, and then a single movement variation. Even though it's only a few minutes long, you'll feel the immediate power of your own nervous system to improve through movement. Then I'll instruct you how to use this experience through your hands to help your child. You'll use the visualization and the movement to do your first hands-on lesson. In the full lesson, you get new life and better organization through your entire spine. It's an important first step because a well-organized spine is crucial to all other movement. Even with this short sample, it's only the very first movement, but you'll experience how easy it is to start the process of reorganizing your muscles, joints, and bones for instant improvement. For your child, it will provide important information for them to use their spine and back to begin the process of acquiring healthier movement patterns. Please lie on your back. Feel your contact with the floor. Scan through your body, noticing the length of your 2 legs, the length of your arms, and the length of your spine. And when I say scan, I mean in your mind's eye, locate your tailbone, the lowest part of your spine, and in your mind's eye, go up the length of your spine trying to feel all of the different parts. As if your awareness, your attention could walk up the length of your spine, and you can draw a picture or get a feeling of each vertebrae as you do that. Feel the whole length of your spine, from your tailbone up through the lower back, the middle part of your spine, up between your shoulder blades, your neck, up to your head, and the point of contact with the floor. As you lie there, notice the movement of your breathing and any sensations you notice as the breath comes in and out. See if you can maintain a picture of yourself as you also focus on your breathing. Gently roll your head left and right and feel how your head rolls. Just let it spill to one side and the other very gently. And then, with that picture of yourself in mind, please roll onto your side, whichever side feels more comfortable. If you need a pillow under your head, that's fine. As the lesson progresses and the pillow gets in the way, you can move it out of the way when you're ready. Bend your knees and draw your legs well up like a fetal position. And then lengthen your arms long in front of your shoulders. Move your arms, your hands a little bit up and down in front of your face and then in front of your chest until you find a place where it feels like they're in the middle in front of your shoulders. Get your arms long but not locked and do a very gentle little movement where you very gently lengthen the top arm a little bit past the lower arm, as if there was a little ball in front of your fingers and you wanted to push it away with your fingertips. As if you just wanted to push that away just an inch, very gently, and then come back. So you very gently lengthen the arm and then come back to the middle. And every time you do the movement, initiate it on an exhale. Breathe in gently, exhale, and initiate a new movement of lengthening the arm. And think from the beginning that the movement originates in your spine. So you're actually twisting the spine and pushing the whole arm away from you. See if you can get a feeling for that. Reduce the effort in the arm, reduce the effort in the shoulder, and think that you're twisting the spine, and by twisting the spine in that direction, it lengthens the arm. Do it very gently, don't push to the furthest you can go, and don't hold the movement for a long time. Just lengthen the arm and come back, and then rest for a moment on your side. Then breathe in, exhale, and do the movement again. Each time you do it, try to include a little bit more and a little bit more of your spine. As if each time you do it, you're adding one vertebrae and letting that movement go a little bit further down your spine. Your head may roll a little bit. If you need to adjust your head, let it come forward, because you'll find that as your spine reorganizes, your head will sit more true on top of your spine, and it's likely going to move forward as you progress with the movements. If your hip rolls forward a lot, try to keep it relatively still, because the more your hip and leg moves at this point, the less you're actually twisting your spine. So we're not rolling the whole body forward, but just twisting from the upper spine. Be careful not to tense the hands or the wrist. Stop it for a moment and rest on your side. Let your arms rest. And then get your arms long again in the same position. Do a similar movement, but now let your pelvis go forward too. So let your whole body just sort of roll forward and come back. Don't worry about lengthening the arms so much as just rolling the shoulder and the pelvis together so you feel how your whole body can roll on the table. Go back and forth lightly and feel what happens when you let your whole back participate as one unit. And now leave the hip still and resume just lengthening the arm. And see if that's a little more clear to you. Use the spine, twist the spine in order to lengthen the arm. And then stop the movement and lie on your back and rest for a moment. And again, feel how you contact the floor, the length of your legs, the length of your arms, the length of your spine, the feeling of your breathing, and any changes that you notice from doing just the first movement. To begin, please get a piece of paper. Place the paper on a pillow or on the sofa and gently touch with just your index finger and middle finger. Touch the surface of the paper in such a way that you don't want the paper to move. Just feel the first contact between your fingers and that paper and see just how lightly you can touch it and still feel it. The sensitivity through our fingers is really amazing. Now gently press into the paper in such a way that you want to feel every point of the movement. You want to feel every partial millimeter and just gently press so that you lightly deform the shape of the paper, maybe making a little circle under your two fingers, but not folding or bending the paper hard. Really use your sensitivity to gently, continuously press into the paper, gently making that spot get bigger, and then stop it. Do that a few times. First contacting, feeling the lightness of your contact, and then gently pressing into the paper, giving a continuous movement that never folds or moves the paper violently, but just gently deforms the shape of the paper a tiny bit. Practice this a few times over a few days to develop the sensitivity of touch. Now we're going to use that same quality of touch on your child. Have your child lie on their side or on their belly, however they're comfortable. An older child can follow instructions. A toddler may be a moving target, so if they're sitting or lying in different positions, that's okay. Just go with how they change. An infant you may hold in your arms and hold them with one hand while you work with the other hand, or have someone else hold them and you can work with them on their back. And we're going to use that same quality of touch, touching the back. So lying on their side, sit behind the child and gently put those two fingers, just the very tips of your index finger and your middle finger, make sure your fingernails aren't too long, and gently touch just underneath the vertebrae of the spine. So find where the spine protrudes, touch anywhere you can, probably in between the shoulders is usually where you can easily touch the spine. And then go just below the crest of the vertebrae toward the floor to feel the muscles along the side of the spine. And that's where you're going to touch. So you don't want to touch right where the spine protrudes, but just above or below it. Today we're going to go below the spine and gently first touch those muscles and then gently let your fingers sort of sink in the way you let them sink into the paper, so you make a clear contact between your fingers and the back of your child. And just hold it there for a moment. And then let up the pressure and move your fingers up or down to the next vertebrae where you can feel it clearly. And again, first just touch, make contact, and use the visualization that we did to feel your own spine, feel your own arms and legs, feel the quality of touch. Gently let your fingertips sink in slightly, just to sort of say, hi, here I am. Just a gentle touch, and then let up the pressure and move on to the next point on the spine. Gently touch and then let your fingers sink in, making clear contact. And again, visualize your own spine. Then begin to visualize your child's spine. Continue to go up and down the spine. Take a few minutes, go vertebra by vertebra like that. Just touch, let your fingers sink in a little bit, hold it for just a second or two, then let up the pressure and go down to the next vertebrae. You can start at the top of the spine and work your way down and then back up. It's very easy to do, very relaxing. You may notice that your child begins to breathe differently, may relax and shift their position a little bit. Some may even fall asleep. After doing this for a few minutes, you may find that they have lots of energy, that they want to eat, or they want to rest. Go with the child and just do this for 5 minutes on the first day. And once you've gone up and down the spine once or twice, stop it and come back the next day. So you can do 2 in one day, leave a couple of hours in between, or come back the next day and resume, do the same thing. So you'll touch underneath the spine, gently let your fingers sink in, and then do a tiny little movement of lifting with your 2 fingers, and then stop the lift, let up the pressure, move on to the next vertebrae, touch, feel the contact, let your fingers sink in just a little bit so that you feel the quality of the muscle tone. And then very gently lift your 2 fingers, inducing a tiny little movement of the vertebrae there, and then stop and go to the next vertebrae. Do that very, very gently, and that's a second little process that you can do. Every step is important, so after you've done the steps, let the child rest, come back after a few hours or the next day, and we'll resume with the third step. And now, for the third part, you'll sit in front of your child and hold their hand in your hand. So if they're lying on their left side and their right side is up toward the ceiling, you could hold their right hand with your right hand very easily and lengthen their arm like you did in the movement lesson. And be mindful, if your child has a spastic arm, not to try to straighten it or stretch it hard. Just move the arm as easy as they can move it to whatever long-ish position they can get into easily. And then reach over their shoulder and around the spine, in between the shoulder blades there. Find a point where you can touch the vertebrae and get your 2 fingers on the underside of the spine like you did before. And then simply hold the hand and hold the spine and very gently guide the arm a little bit longer and guide the spine along with it, and then stop. Do the movement that you did in the lesson, but do it very, very small. So just do the very beginning part of the movement, thinking that you want your child to feel that there's a connection between the spine and the arm. So the goal is not to stretch the arm or to move the arm a long way, but just to feel the very beginning part of the movement. Move the hand a little bit and move the spine, lift the vertebrae, and then go back. It's a tiny little movement, but to feel the very beginning of a movement between the arm and the spine. Do that many times. You can do it 2 or 3 times on one vertebrae, and then move up or down with your fingers on the spine. And again, gently pull the hand lightly, lengthen the arm slightly, and lift on the spine a little bit. Gently, gently let the whole torso roll a little bit, and then come back. You may find that there's very little movement or no movement, but we're really just looking to start to form these connections. And this is a really important one, to let your child know that moving the arm involves also moving the spine. Go back and forth a few times, gently lengthening the arm and letting the spine twist. Now go back to the first movement of simply touching below their spine, and go up and down their spine and see if you notice a difference in the quality of the muscle tone along their spine. Remember, it's important not to do too much, so let your child rest, let them eat, let them play, whatever they want to do right now, because they will feel the differences. See if you notice the differences in what they do, and remember, this is just the first step. This particular lesson has several variations and multiple hands-on techniques that I can teach you just based on the very first 30-minute lesson. The Embody platform has hours of material, and I'm continually adding more, so we have a comprehensive training for all of your needs. Take the next step. Call me, contact me, and let's make a custom process for you and your family. Okay, that was just a small glimpse at the process. How did it work for you? How did it go practicing with your child? In time, you'll acquire a large vocabulary of movement and learn a wide variety of techniques. This is just the very first step. Congratulations! You'll also learn to apply these principles of learning to other areas of life. The learning process is universal and can transform your child's relationship to school, socialization, and other areas as well. Let me know how it's working for you, and we'll make a strategy for you to continue. One-on-one sessions with me give you a customized process specifically for your child's needs. You also get access to the recorded videos, and the library is growing to be a huge resource. This is a vast system and immediately helpful. Now that you've experienced a little bit of it, I hope I'll see you in the full training. I've helped hundreds of children with a wide variety of needs. It's always helpful and can make a significant difference for your entire family. Please let me know how I can help you today, and don't delay. Every day is important in the life of a small child. I believe in it so much I offer a money-back guarantee. Comment now on your experience below. How did it go doing your first hands-on lesson with your child? Share anything you'd like or comment Embody for Children to help spread the word. I invite you to continue because every step gives you more skill, more empowerment, more crucial information that your child needs. I want to offer you my personal help. I've helped so many families, and I know you face huge challenges. That's why I'm here for you every step of the way. Comment below, send me a message, or request a call and tell me how I can help you. Thank you.